So many people are obviously worried about money and bills and paying rent, paying their mortgage. What do you do in times like this? I have a couple options for you, a couple of solutions for you as well. And it's something that I absolutely love. It's something that I always prepare for. I always prepare for moments like this. I'm constantly ready for a crisis situation just because that's who I am. I don't know. I just love to always know what to do, what options you have financially, how can you be the smartest that you can be. First, I would say, for the question of how do I pay my rent if I don't have a job? If you're really having trouble paying rent, the first thing to do is ask for help with your landlord. Talk to your landlord. Everyone is in this situation right now. I know if you own property, if you have a mortgage, if you call your bank, banks are now offering holiday repayment terms. So they're giving people up to 3 months where you don't have to pay your mortgage. And they will basically add on that 3 months to the end of the mortgage term. So if that's your case, if you are own a property, you should talk to your bank, let them know your situation. And if you've generally been a good repayer of your mortgage, then they're most likely going to help you or try to find a solution for you that works. Even if you can only pay half of your month's mortgage, negotiate with them, talk to them, be honest, be a person. Let them know your worries, let them know what's happening in your life, and obviously they're aware of this too, so they're going to try to help because they're in a situation where they're not going to get their money if you don't pay. And because of this, I'm also encouraging any tenants, anybody who's renting, talk to your landlords about the same thing, because that landlord may be able to talk to the bank of where they have their mortgage and have a little bit of relief if they can't pay. And if they can pay, it's even better for them. So talk to them, allow them to help you negotiate terms of repayment in the future if it's something that you can't do now, because regardless, most governments are not allowing anybody to evict anybody right now from a lease. So that's something that you shouldn't worry about. Don't worry about getting evicted. Worry about just being honest, being open, asking for help. It's totally fine to do that. Everyone's probably going to be doing that if this lasts long enough. Eventually, no one's going to be paying any bills. Money's not going to mean anything anymore. Because if nobody's making money and there's no businesses working, money will mean absolutely nothing. So just focus on the here and now, be open, be honest, ask for help. In terms of if you need immediate emergency money, a couple things you can do. There are options of applying or using a credit card that has a 0% interest APR for balance transfers. If you can get access to that, it can be kind of scary, it can be kind of tricky, but a lot of them offer 12-month or 18 months with 0% interest. So if you need emergency money, this is something that I would only recommend if you absolutely need it. I would not say to do this to pay rent or anything, but if it's something you need, if you need food and there's no other way to possibly get any help, you could possibly look at using one of your credit cards for 0% interest APR balance transfer, and you can ask for that balance transfer to be sent to your bank account. So you could take out a $2,000 loan basically from your credit card for 0% interest for 12 months or 18 months. And that could be one solution. One other solution would be to apply for personal loans. There are companies that are offering personal loans. You could ask a bank, you could ask certain creditors online just by doing a Google search. If you absolutely need something like that, the government has basically, at least the US government has made our federal interest rate 0, which is basically unheard of in modern times. So most personal loans will have a very low interest rate. If it's something that you absolutely need, that could be an option. I'm always against borrowing money at a time like this in general, because I think if you can't pay and millions of other people can't pay, why should you take out a loan that's going to be making you have to repay later in the future? I would look for any other solution first. Even just hold off on paying bills like credit cards, or pay just the minimum right now until you move forward and things come back around. Also, in terms of paying credit cards, this is something that is extremely important too. If you have credit card bills and you can't make those payments, call those credit card companies. They may be able to work with you just like the banks and allow you to repay later or make just a small payment. or just halt payments altogether. Right now, because it's early on in this situation, any payment is going to be fine. I think in the future, again, if this lasts really long, no one's going to be paying their bills, so that's something we'll have to revisit at a future time. Another thing about investments and retirement accounts, if you are lucky enough and you have worked to the point where you have investment accounts or retirement accounts, at this point, if you still have your money invested, which I hope you do, the market's down quite a bit and your account is going to be down a lot. I just took a look at my retirement account and I basically, it makes me feel like, why did I even save for retirement, because everything is going away. But at the same time, I know that this situation is just a crazy situation and it's something that's not going to necessarily last forever. And if it does, then we're all going to have to deal with financial problems. And again, money's going to have to mean something totally different. But don't touch your retirement accounts. If you have investment accounts, I would say make sure you're not using any margin, that you're not using any borrowed money right now. If you are, now would be a good time to take that all off the table, because there could be a possibility of closing the markets as well. Back when September 11th happened in the US, markets closed for 4 days. And when something like this happens, the government could wait for the situation to get better. If that's the case, the market could jump 30% when it opens again, or it could go down 30% when it opens again. So it's really important that you're not borrowing any money, because if you're using borrowed money and the market goes down another 30%, you could possibly lose even more than you put in. So make sure that you're not borrowing anything. If you're not, and that's not the case, and you just own stocks outright, I would say just don't touch it. Especially your retirement account, even if you have to pay bills. Of course, there's always an option to take money from your retirement. If it's just a little bit of money, I think, why even think about taking from your retirement? Try to find another solution. If it's a big amount of money, again, I still would say the same thing, because, and let me tell you why, with a retirement account, it's basically protected against bankruptcy for the most part, for many situations, unless you do something fraudulent or something illegal. Even if you go bankrupt, even if you lose your business and you lose your house and you lose everything, your retirement account is safe. And that's the point of having a retirement account also, and keeping it separate from everything else. Because even in the worst times, the government and creditors cannot touch your retirement. They cannot touch your retirement account. They can't take money from that. And that's why I think you should not either. You should actually stop looking at it at this time. Just know that it will be there in the future. If you're retiring very soon, maybe now is a good time to try to take some cash out for a period of time in order to be able to live off of, or find other solutions again also to make money. Again, the financial part of this is really tricky because we're in a time that nobody's ever seen something like this. The only thing I can say is that if you're having money problems and millions of other people are having money problems, then we're all in this same position. So the best thing to do would be to make as little decisions as possible when it comes to moving money around. Pay the basic bills that you need to pay, and if you can't do it, again, talk to those creditors, talk to the banks. If it's an electricity bill, talk to these companies. They're not going to take your electricity off. They're not going to evict you at this time. The most important thing is to just make sure we stop the spread of this disease, that we get back to our normal lives and get things going again. So again, basic financial thing, ask for help. Don't make any crazy moves with your money, and focus on what is more important, which is our health and our sanity and our mental happiness. Now, in terms of that, I think one of the most important things to remember is, if it's something you can change, if whatever's happening in your life is something you can change, something you can do about, do it. If it's something that you can't change, you have to just let it go. And it's as simple as that. And I think if we live our life like that, a lot of us would be a lot happier, because sometimes we just can't change what's going on. And I think at this situation, this is one especially where we cannot change this. This is not something that is happening to just one person. This is not something just happening to me where I can do something about it. I can work harder and get out of it. It's not that situation. We're all in this situation. So we have to just be safe, do what we're told by our governments, by our communities, stop the spread of this, and move forward. I think what a lot of you are posting things online. I think social media has been really funny these days, which is kind of good. That's one thing I love about social media, is that we can make light of things. We can come together as a community. Everybody's basically staying home right now, so we're all kind of relating on this one issue across the globe. It's not just in the United States. It's not just in Italy, or it's not just in Iran. It's everywhere. So at least maybe we can feel a little community on social media. Besides that, I've been seeing a lot of people posting that they're bored, that there's just nothing to do except watch Netflix. And I think if that's how you're feeling, then I want to encourage you to do a passion project, or write the book that you always wanted to write, or work on studying something that you wanted to study. We have access online to basically anything that you want to do, anything you want to learn today. So use this time to do that. I think the best thing to do would be to create a goal that you have during this time where you're going to be home, where you're not going to be working, or where you're not going to be in school, and tell yourself what you want to accomplish in this time. And hopefully when everything comes back around, we're going to look at this time and say, I'm so glad that I spent my free time doing that, because now I've accomplished something that I wanted to do for a long time and didn't even have the time to. Now that things are better and things are moving forward, I'm even a step further than I was before this happened. And I think that's something that we'll all be proud of if we do that. Other than that, I definitely want to just send my love to you all. I want to let you know that, of course, we're all thinking about everybody in this time, and I'm definitely thinking about you guys. I hope everyone is staying as healthy as possible. If you have any questions about things financially or mental health wise, I am always happy to help. I love to find solutions, and I do that for myself. I do that for my friends and my family. So definitely feel free to ask. Other than that, I hope that we get out of this soon, and that we all come together happy and united after this.